Stay frosty and head over to easymutt.com for the cheapest mutt coins on the market. And when I say cheapest, I mean it. We're talking 1 million coins for around $40. Use code DIRECTOR for 5% off. Yo, what up, brothers? It's the Director. Chargers fans, it feels like the internet was set on fire yesterday when Patrick Mahomes had this to say about Justin Herbert.
Watch out for Justin Herbert next year. I'll see it when I believe it. Yeah.
I will see it when I believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not quite sure how the phrase goes, but I'm pretty sure it's not like that. And I decided to retweet this in defense of Justin Herbert to the tune of like 400, almost 500 likes from an angered Chargers community in saying, I beg your pardon, but the dude almost beat you the first game of his career with no notice, no offseason, terrible coaching, a terrible offensive line, might I add. You've already seen it, Patrick Mahomes. Justin Herbert is the real deal. And in my opinion, when you're throwing shade at somebody and you get the saying wrong or whatever, it kind of means that you're in their head a little bit. And I think Justin Herbert might be in the head of this man, Patrick Mahomes. But in reality, guys, I see this as a friendly banter. Maybe Patrick Mahomes is a little bit worried about Justin Herbert. Maybe he's not. All of it's going to come down to game day and kickoff really, really soon here in September. But I don't really want that to be the point of this video, even though that was a hilariously epic misspeak. But no, the point I'm trying to get across here in today's video is the similarities that I am seeing between Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, and the possibility that Justin Herbert could actually become the next Patrick Mahomes. And in that light, I mean the title of like the next biggest quarterback in the NFL. That potential does reside in Justin Herbert. That possibility of the Chargers in the next few years with the development of Justin Herbert literally having a top 3, maybe even best quarterback in the league is actually more possible than maybe even we as fans realize, maybe just NFL fans realize. So today's video, I'm going to give you guys a brief look at the history and the upcoming of Patrick Mahomes and why the similarities that I'm seeing between him and Justin Herbert spell a really good future for Justin Herbert in the NFL. Before we do get started, as a reminder, there is a giveaway going on this channel right now, the first item of which being a signed Joey Bosa football. This is a thanks from me to you guys, all my subscribers. Very easy to enter for this one. You don't have to be a member or anything like that. Just hit up the link in the description, follow the instructions there. Super easy to enter, and also make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Remember, only subs can win. Again, guys, I hope this goes to a good home. Thank you guys so much for your support this off season. But we are not done there. Of course, we do have a giveaway for my crew members as well. You guys absolutely killed it this off season, helping keep the lights on around here. To say thank you, I'm giving away this signed Antonio Gates jersey. This is super awesome, guys. Thank you so much for all the support you've given me here on the channel. All you got to do to enter for this is be a member of my crew. I'll be drawing a name randomly from there in the beginning of August. And with that, let's get into this one. Before we do, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this Chargers content. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, bell notification helps me out a lot. Enters you guys for the giveaway, helps us battle the YouTube algorithm. Let's get into this one. Lights, camera, action. Why Justin Herbert will be the next Patrick Mahomes in the NFL, one of the next big things in the NFL when it comes to the position of quarterback. I see it as certainly being a huge, huge possibility, guys. Remember this point in Patrick Mahomes' career. He played the one game in 2017. Very unspectacular game, but there were signs of something there. At this point, people really didn't understand what Patrick Mahomes was about to bring to the league, other than the actual team, the Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, Mahomes would go on to have a fantastic follow-up season in 2018. 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. One of the best performances we've seen by a quarterback in recent memory. But I got asking myself, like, why? Why did Patrick Mahomes all of a sudden explode into this huge, enormous talent? And I do think a lot of it does rely in the talent that Patrick Mahomes has, but also in the intelligent team building that the Kansas City Chiefs executed around Patrick Mahomes. There's a lot of different components that come together for a successful successful star franchise quarterback in the NFL, and I think the Kansas City Chiefs did execute that rather impressively. At this point in the offseason in 2019, the Chiefs were certain that Patrick Mahomes would be their franchise quarterback, certainly in kickoff the following September. So what did they do? They decided to load up this team with weapons, with players that complement Patrick Mahomes and also complement the weaknesses the team has in aiding Patrick Mahomes. I would say more specifically the defense. They recognized Patrick Mahomes was special. They recognized that he could carry the offense quite impressively on his own. It's the defense that lacked a lot of support, and they did a lot of big things that offseason in order to help complement Patrick Mahomes in the season to follow. Short signings like Carlos Hyde, releasing Justin Houston, releasing Eric Berry, but replacing them with quality talent like Tyrann Mathieu. We also have to remember they did trade for Frank Clark later that season, first and second round pick as a matter of fact, because they felt they needed to go over the edge a little bit when it came to their defense. But that didn't stop them from building around Patrick Mahomes on the offensive side of the ball either. It was very apparent in the draft, whether or not they had a first round pick or not, that they were going to give him additional weapons, one in the light of Mecole Hardman. Some people may say that's a little bit of overkill. A lot of people saw Mecole Hardman as another speedster in the league, maybe that to the similar talent of a Tyreek Hill, which was already on their team, but they felt they wanted to give Patrick Mahomes the best possibility or the best situation possible to succeed with these super weapons, complementing that of a Tyreek Hill and even a Kelsey at tight end. So they made a lot of moves this season, guys. Just take a look at the long list of transactions that they made in the year of 2020, even before kickoff. It's actually quite impressive. So what does this have to do with Justin Herbert? Well, Justin Herbert in his rookie season, I think step one is recognizing what you've got, right? Immediately, the Chargers definitely recognize what they've got in Justin Herbert following his offensive rookie of the year season, putting up 4,300 yards, 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. This is nothing short of one of the best rookie seasons that we've ever seen for a quarterback in the NFL, and the Chargers knew it. The Chargers know it. And the biggest thing that you can do after finding, because let's be honest, not a lot of teams are going to stumble on a quarterback like Justin Herbert. Once you recognize what you've got, it's time to kind of push all your chips in, man. Time to go all in on your new franchise quarterback of Justin Herbert and give him all the tools that he's going to need to succeed. But the Chargers were not in the same place as the Kansas City Chiefs. As elevated of a talent as Justin Herbert is, he's going to need different things in order to help him achieve the same kind of status that a Patrick Mahomes does have. And one of the biggest things that the Chargers did this offseason, can you guys guess? What did the Chargers attack? The biggest weakness this team had going into the offseason. Offensive line? Perhaps? No. The biggest weakness that this team had was coaching. The Chargers head coach last season, Anthony Lynn, as much as I respect him as a human being, made some big dumb moves over the course of the season that cost the Chargers a number of games. Some would even say the first game of his career versus the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chargers had a good shot at winning that had it not been by some fumbles by the coaching staff. Bringing in a Coach Staley, the Chargers have proven to me, at least as a fan, that they are willing to go all in on Justin Herbert and change and adapt. Being able to embrace change in the NFL is one of the toughest things I think I see throughout the league. A lot of people kind of stuck in their ways. You know, the strong, old-fashioned kind of football does reside in a lot of the minds of the head coaches. But the league is changing. It's always changing. It's been changing since the moment the first football was kicked off in the NFL and the AFL. And I feel like some of the most successful teams in the history of the sport are teams led by leaders that are willing to adapt, to change. This move right here that the Chargers made during this offseason and letting go of Anthony Lynn and bringing in Brandon Staley specifically tells me that the Chargers are moving in the direction that's going to benefit Justin Herbert the most. One of the strongest analytical minds in the NFL is now at the helm of the Chargers head coaching position, and this is one of the best things that could have happened to Justin Herbert over the course of this offseason. And of course, if you're Chargers fans, you've been watching my videos, you know that the Chargers did not stop there. It seems that Coach Staley, Tom Telesco, the entire company of the Chargers front office decided that it was time to give Justin Herbert one of the biggest things that he needed, that he lacked last season, in an offensive line. Guys, remember, when it comes to building around a player, let's say building around a position, there are certain things that you can do to help that position. Now, when it comes to the position of quarterback, the biggest thing that you can improve on a team for a quarterback is improving offensive line, okay? The offensive line of the Chargers last season in 2020 was among the worst in the NFL. I dare say it, the moves that the Chargers made in 2021 as far as the offseason might spell a better, maybe even a well above average offensive line for the Chargers, which we have not seen as Chargers fans in a very, very long time. Of course, Corey Linsley being the highlight of the offseason for the Chargers free agent pool. This was an absolute huge signing for Justin Herbert, not just because Corey Linsley is one of the best, if not the best center in the league, one of the best offensive linemen in the league, but because what he brings in terms of experience. It's going to be a pretty tall order for the Chargers to run out there with a brand new offensive line in 2021. The key to all of this, to bringing it together, to making sure it works as a functioning machine, is Corey Linsley. His experience in communication is one of the biggest things that's going to help not only this line gel, but help Justin Herbert understand how to communicate with this offensive line. Corey Linsley's been there, man. You know, the front man for Aaron Rodgers for so long. That team has seen so much success. Corey Linsley's a very intelligent human being who's going to understand how to communicate with his quarterback, and vice versa, help his quarterback understand how to communicate with him and that line. So if it hadn't been for Corey Linsley, all these other signings would have been impressive, but maybe not as impressive, seeing that it can take a long time for a line to gel. My optimism behind it gelling sooner than later is this man, Corey Linsley. This was a huge, huge signing, one that might go under the radar for some Chargers fans because, number one, it is an offensive lineman, and number two, the Chargers did have a lot of money to pursue bigger name targets like a Julio Jones this offseason. But the Chargers were not done there, man. They brought in an entirely new coaching staff, I think helmed by Joe Lombardi. Of course, Brandon Staley, but Joe Lombardi, I feel, is one of the most perfect candidates to come in and help Justin Herbert unleash what he's got in his arsenal on the NFL. Joe Lombardi, coming from, honestly, a checkered past when it comes to offensive coordinator, I feel has enough experience, and there's been enough time that has passed to bring in an awesome scheme that will complement Justin Herbert going forward. Remember, Joe Lombardi of the New Orleans Saints has been there for a very, very long time, is going to bring with him a scheme that's similar to what the New Orleans Saints were running, but as well as the San Francisco 49ers, from what I am hearing. This is very beneficial to a guy like Justin Herbert. It's kind of funny, last season with Anthony Lynn, you know, an ex-running back in the NFL, he had an idea of what he wanted to do, and that was run the ball sometimes to a fault. That team last season, the 2020 Los Angeles Chargers, maybe not as equipped to run what Anthony Lynn needed. In order to do that, Anthony Lynn probably should have kept a Melvin Gordon or signed a bigger back, let's say like a Todd Gurley. In this season, the Chargers, it feels like we've got ourselves a Brandon Staley who is an ex-quarterback. He has a unique perspective on the position. He's bringing in people that will help the Chargers, I feel like, come into a more balanced offensive scheme. Make sure you utilize what's working in any given circumstance. If the run seems to be more effective versus this opponent, then maybe try to utilize the run. If the pass is more effective versus this opponent, try to utilize the pass. Try to bring in both sides of an offense in order to attack every opponent. And I feel one of the best teams in the NFL in recent memory that's been executing that at a high level has been the New Orleans Saints. So Joe Lombardi, I know maybe he didn't have a great run with the Detroit Lions as an offensive coordinator so many years ago, but like I said, the league is changing. It has changed a lot since then, and I feel like Joe Lombardi and his experience does complement what a modern NFL is doing and can help Justin Herbert even further in developing into the quarterback that the Chargers are hoping he can become. But the Chargers have not stopped there. They've brought in a bunch of talented quarterbacks into the quarterback room with Justin Herbert, not to mention a Drew Brees came into training camp, observed him, gave him some pointers. They signed a Chase Daniel as well, who's very familiar in a lot of different offenses, to help teach him as well. They are surrounding him with a cast of intelligent, football-minded individuals to bring him into the scheme that the Chargers want to run to build around Justin Herbert. This entire operation is being executed with the mindset of we are running this team through Justin Herbert, and that didn't stop through the draft either. That's one of the biggest things that you can kind of understand what a team is trying to do. If you've got any question marks as to what the Chargers, goals were going to be going into the season, what their vision is going to be going forward, take a look at the draft, and that can be said by any team in the NFL. What the Chargers did in this draft spells a lot for what they want to do in the future, starting with first-round pick Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern, one of the the best left tackles that we've seen in a long time. He is now on the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers offensive line absolutely transformed, and I think it was solidified with the selection of Rashawn Slater. They brought in other talents like Josh Palmer in order to make sure Justin Herbert has all the weapons that he's going to need going into this season. A very specific archetype of wide receiver, might I add, a chain mover, a big body. I feel like they understand what sort of wide receiver complements Justin Herbert, and I think they brought in a very, very solid one. Again, another signing under the radar that should spell success going into the season. All these signs of what the Chargers are doing this offseason, this is kind of tying a ribbon on everything, does remind me a lot of what the Kansas City Chiefs did when they found out what they had in Patrick Mahomes. And again, guys, this is going to be, a multi-step process. This is not going to be something that's going to change overnight. Brandon Staley is a first-year head coach. The Chargers have just executed step one in their phase of building around Justin Herbert, but things are moving in the direction that are going to benefit Justin Herbert in that way. All Justin Herbert needs to do is be Justin Herbert. The talent is there. The freakish next-level talent is there. That's something we saw in Patrick Mahomes, but it's what they did to build around Patrick Mahomes that made him a household name in the NFL. Ultimately, though, I think the biggest thing that the Chargers did this offseason and why I feel Justin Herbert and the Chargers are in good hands is going to be Brandon Staley. I know a lot of us Chargers fans were very excited at the idea of a Brian Dable coming in to lead the Chargers at the head coaching position. I think Brandon Staley reflects, again, a modern NFL, the mindset of a modern NFL, and he's going to give Justin Herbert one of the best opportunities to succeed, not just offensively, but defensively. Brandon Staley is known for being a guru, a genius on the defensive side of the ball, and that's going to be something that Justin Herbert will need as well, because without a good defense like the Kansas City Chiefs figured out, the team as a whole and your quarterback are not going to be as efficient as you hope they could be. So Brandon Staley coming in here, the Chargers building around him, the scheme, everything shifting in the area of benefiting a Justin Herbert does spell for a very bright future for him. So what's next? What's next in the future to help execute this plan? I feel like defense is the next thing the Chargers are going to be focusing on in the next couple of seasons. Some people might forget that the Chargers defense before going into last season was probably looked at as a top 10, top 5 defense in the league. Injuries did change that narrative quite a bit, but I think the Chargers are already looking to be in a much better situation this year just because of Brandon Staley's presence. Yet on top of that, Derwin James, Drew Tranquill, the flurry of Chargers players returning to the fold this season. Chargers might remind people why they viewed him as a top 10 defense before the kickoff of last season. So Justin Herbert, the future is very, very bright. The Chargers are making the right moves to move in the direction of running the team through him. Very excited at the prospect of what this team could look like and Justin Herbert could look like in the future. So in the comment section below, kind of a left field question for you guys. What do you guys think the stats for a Justin Herbert could look in a season that has, for the very first time, 17 games, and with a full off season of preparation, practicing with the ones, with a scheme that's specific to him, all these things that Justin Herbert didn't have in his rookie season? What do you think a season with that will spell analytically? What are the stats you think he puts up? As a sampler, my guess is somewhere around 4,800 yards, 36 touchdowns, maybe 11 picks. That's kind of, off the top of my head. But I don't think it's anywhere out of the realm of possibilities for Justin Herbert to put up over 5,000 yards, very similar to what a Patrick Mahomes did in his follow-up season in the NFL. Well, guys, as a quick reminder here, make sure to check out the link in the description if you want to enter for that Joey Bosa ball. Get ready for another giveaway getting closer to kickoff, guys. Those items are absolutely insane. I cannot wait to share with you guys what we have in store for the future. And also keep in mind that I will be making an appearance on the Guilty as Charged podcast upcoming this Thursday. If you guys want to see what it looks like when I'm interacting with other Chargers fans, I think we had some really awesome conversations in that broadcast. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. Hit the like and sub button on your way out if you did enjoy this content. We'll see you next time, and as always, bolt up and stay frosty.